Hi everyone, this is Kanika. I'm the founder and CEO of MindCog. We're a boutique market intelligence firm where we offer very bespoke AI-enabled solutions to give answers to your pointed business challenges. Welcome to another episode of the Insights Lounge, and today I'm very pleased for our current guest, Mr. Rogi Jagtiani, who has a very illustrious career as a career coach, as an AI coach. He brings together about 24 years of experience as a trainer in AI and machine learning, specializing in helping professionals master the latest AI and ML technologies through practical hands-on learning. In about his past 18 years, he has successfully trained more than 18,000 young professionals across various industries, including several MNCs in India. He has also served as the head of computer science department at VES Mumbai with over 11 years in academia. Welcome, Rocky. Thank you so much for making time for us today.
Sure. Thank you, Kanika. Yes.
So, Rocky, from your early days in data to becoming an AI transformation coach, how has been your journey?
So you're asking me in nutshell to tell me about my career graph, kind of. I'm sure you have gone through my LinkedIn profile. So I was basically into academics, started off my career for about 11 and a half years approximately, serving an institution here in Bombay, in India, as head of the Department of Computer Science. But then I thought changes are inevitable because that's the only thing constant in life. So I shifted to into corporate training with one of the top consulting companies in India. But I worked for a very short period there because I thought something better is there in the world. From 2013, I ventured into corporate training. And with respect to corporate training, I traveled all over the world, made a lot of friends like you. Initially, I was into the Java and web development and kind of Python stack of training. But in 2017, I should thank Central Government of India. It was blessing in disguise because one of the key people attended one of my sessions on tech stack training, some technology training for the government departments, some senior people, and they said, Rocky, we are impressed with the way you have handled us. You see, apart from technical knowledge, you could keep us engaged for about entirely for 4.5 hours, which is a great thing to happen, which is very rare to happen with this thing. So I
Yeah.
told, absolutely, sir. Well, we are looking at, he was an IAS officer, and they were saying that we are looking at AI, which is a new thing. I told, even I have been reading all about it since beginning of 2017. It was like a mid of 2017. So things started falling in place, and I got deputed, or I should say selected, for a body called CAG, Comptroller
Mhm.
Auditor General. So I'm responsible to train senior audit officers for the entire Western India, which is basically three states, Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Goa. So
Mhm.
a lot of AI initiatives are actually being taken by the central government of India, much more than the individual state governments. Good examples are your UPI, which you actually have, the DG Yatra, which you see at the airport,
Yeah.
or the challans which you get when you bypass a signal, or you get an automated GST or an income tax query. And that's all machine learning actually put into place.
Mm.
So the idea was that things started falling in place. I understood at the initial start of my career that AI is going to affect us, not a particular profession, but it's going to affect every one of us. Whether this
Mm.
podcast people, we are all involved in this podcast, is going to affect us using AI tools to improve our work, or is going to affect me in
Mm.
preparing quick training content, or is
Mm.
going to affect people who are into business decisions to ideate more ideas. So
Yeah.
that's the point where I had a pivot in my career into AI, and then there was no looking back. So being into AI as an AI transformation coach for top companies in the world.
That's
Yeah.
very interesting, Rocky. And like you said, that you started identifying this trend very early on. And I think not very long ago, businesses used to only, connect AI with like some basic automation or chatbots. Where do you think that businesses are today in terms of their AI maturity? And I'm talking about, mid-sized companies or maybe smaller companies. The large ones like Meta and Alphabet, we know they're far ahead anyway.
Kanika, are absolutely right in saying that most of the micro, small, and medium, I think I should cut down the micro because micro people are still struggling with getting, and surviving on their businesses and the compliances which we have in India. So it's the small and the medium enterprises which are now slowly started thinking about AI. But you're absolutely right in saying that they are very focused. They think AI means only automation or maybe only chatbots.
Mm.
See, the problem is this, that in our country, we still don't have the required amount of digital infrastructure. You
Mm.
see, we have a kind of a digital infrastructure which supports larger companies have a lot of cash flow in their balance sheets. So they can actually make big investments. They don't have a problem because they have a kind of a break-even point of 5 years, 10 years. But probably small businesses can't look at a gestation or a break-even point of 5 or 10 years. So they
Correct.
are expecting that there should be good quality digital infrastructure already available. That is point number one. Point number two, most of the MSMEs across in India have approximately a 15% of adoption towards AI. If you
Hmm.
compare it with similar scale of industries in developed countries, maybe like Singapore, maybe like or developing country like Vietnam, or maybe US or different countries in the European Union, they are having
Hmm.
about 35% and above as an adoption rate of AI.
Hmm.
Research report of NASCOM actually. So I'm just comparing it, apple to apple kind of companies. So we are at 15% right now. I think the major problems the leaders at MSMEs are facing right now is one is a digital infrastructure. Second is their entire processes and data are yet not digitized.
Hmm.
See, if your business processes and data itself are not digitized, I'm sorry, you can't bring AI because AI is a layer which works over your data.
Hmm.
And your data unfortunately is segmented across in different silos in different segments, and there is no process at the moment to streamline them, to digitize them, and therefore we're not able to capitalize them. But I think with the kind of exponential awareness of AI initiated by state governments, by
Hmm.
central governments, and by like organizations like CII, which we met
Yeah.
for the first time, which are not-for-profit organizations, and many other mid and big-size companies like Google, like Meta. They're having a lot of awareness brought about through their digital content or through their articles on AI and business use cases. So I think the way things are working here in India, a lot of leaders are becoming aware. So probably the next year you should see that shift in the mind. You will see meeting people where people will not look at AI as just an automation or just as a chatbot.
I absolutely agree. I think things are changing fairly quickly. There's more awareness now, and possibly next year we'll see a lot many changes, especially on the MSME front and their adoption of AI. But
Mhm.
as of now, what are some of the common myths or misconceptions about AI that you encounter amongst leadership teams that, when you talk to
Okay.
them?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember in one of the group meetings where you and me both were a part of it. Even this question had raised that point of time also. This is like every week question coming up from leaders. So
Hmm.
Kanika, leaders have this fear that if AI comes in, it will replace somebody's job in the company. Most of the leaders are considering AI as job replacers. No, they are not. Yes, certain sector of jobs which are very process oriented, which are very rule based oriented, will definitely get replaced. But I think they would have any which ways got replaced because software technology was evolving,
Hmm.
automation was picking up from the last 10 years. So they
Hmm.
anyway are going to evolve. I don't think so. We should put the blame on AI.
Hmm.
You see,
Correct.
so
Correct.
so imagine that I am a call center executive, okay, and minute for a minute, imagine I work for an ICICI bank,
Yeah.
okay, and my boss, and you have given me this thing that Rocky, listen, when somebody calls you, I've given you 5 questions. You need to be very specific to answer these 5 questions. If somebody is asking you a question which is out of this 5 sets, sorry, I can't help you. Please talk here. So if this is a kind of a rule-based work which I'm supposed to do as a front office executive in a bank, I think I am replaceable.
Hmm.
So sooner or later, whether software evolves, whether automation evolves, whether AI comes, that particular person who's doing a repetitive process-based work is definitely replaceable, and those people have got replaced. Those don't get replaced because of AI. Those got replaced because of COVID. You
I
see,
agree. Yeah.
so approximately 20 lakh people who are working in India before COVID in the sector of BPO and KPO.
Hmm.
That has got reduced to around 2 lakh people. 90% people didn't lose jobs. The jobs got transferred from human rule-based work onto chatbots. Then we have intelligent chatbots. Now we have Gen AI-based chatbots, and we probably are going to have more agentic AI-based chatbots, which is going to interact with people as good as a human would do.
Correct.
So
Correct.
certain jobs replaceable, yes. And one more myth which I have seen in people is people who come from companies which are into digital content or probably into manufacturing or probably into healthcare. They say, no, no, this is not for us.
Hmm.
AI is cup of tea of tech companies. We are
Yeah.
only supposed to use AI tools. No, it is not so, because AI is actually meant to solve problems of real people and common people. So it's there for everyone. And
Yeah.
third problem which Kanika have felt, I'm sure even you would have felt that because
Mm.
you talk with so many leaders, is they ask, Rocky, ऐसा कोई टूल बताओ जो मेरे सिस्टम को पूरा ऑटोमेट कर देगा. So one AI solution which fits all is not possible.
Correct.
Yeah. So this is my personal opinion. This is the kind of common thing which I have actually noticed over the past year.
Yeah, yeah. I think I mean, a couple of points that I just picked up from what you said was one was that, just like you mentioned in COVID times, a lot of companies which were previously so reluctant or resistant to the idea of moving digital, they were just forced to, they didn't have a choice. Which is
Exactly.
why that was like a huge use case for large ITS companies to help all those traditional legacy businesses to move online. Digital transformation was a very big business for many, many companies, including big ones like Accenture. They realize that's a huge market that they can capitalize on. The examples that you gave are very right. I mean, if you look at basic tools like Canva, okay, which is can now easily make some basics designs, and in fact, a lot many templatized designs. And in fact, you can give commands and get designs to be made. So some basic jobs are going to get away. I mean, I still don't think that human intervention is not going to need. I personally don't think that. And then moving on, the next step that you mentioned that agentic AI is probably something that we should all look into, all consider. And a combination of AI agents might be able to automate some tasks and not like one stop shop. Like, I don't think you can get a one stop shop solution from anyone or any one tool.
Exactly. Exactly. Absolutely, Kanika. You have in fact summarized it so well. Absolutely. Yes.
So, I mean, based on your experience, because you teach so many people, and I'm sure you're consulting companies as well, can you share like a use case or like maybe a success story where AI has directly influenced a strategic pivot in an organization?
Tata Motors is a very good example, which I would like to quote. It's not because I hold Tata Motors shares, but Tata Motors has just recently launched a company called Digital.ai. And they are with the belief that simply selling cars or designing cars will not really help them in growing their potential. In a very similar direction, I am an air transformation coach for Bosch India, Vietnam, and Mexico.
Mm.
So even they are having this AI first strategy. They have not started a vertical or a company, but then they have an AI first strategy in every design or every problem solving which they are doing
Mm.
with respect to embedded software which is embedded in your ECUs. So ECU stands for electronic control units, which go actually in your car.
Mm.
Okay, so your vehicles are having like a lot of ECUs beside it for giving you that kind of automated feeling, or maybe the example is ADAS based driving, where you could
Yeah.
cruise control your drive on a highway at a constant speed.
Mm.
So all these things require a lot of sensor based data and a lot of machine learning or AI based tool code incorporated in your embedded software. So if you look at these companies in the automobile space is one. I
Mm.
remember meeting a tech team at Hyderabad, and they were from Apollo Hospitals. They were tech team of Apollo Hospitals. So I had an interaction with them, and after my session of about 4 or 5 hours, they told, Rocky, we're so impressed. We like to share something with you. I told, yeah, please go ahead. Look, I gave some healthcare examples of some other countries and some other medical services, probably of US based companies. That's usually we give for case studies. They told,
Mm.
Rocky, for your information, at Apollo Healthcare, we are already having a kind of a software system wherein once we feed in the data called X-ray reports or CT scan reports or blood reports or other prescriptions of the medical history of the patient, we will exactly come to know in which category the patient gets classified and what specific doctors should he or she be scheduled to. So that
Mm.
helps us in the entire operational planning of the visits of the patient and the doctor. This
Mm.
was usually being done initially by an RMO or probably by a human. So it's
Mm.
got completely shifted onto the software. So idea which I'm trying to tell you is that there has been a huge pivot with a lot of Indian companies who understand that the data which they collect from their service or from
Mm.
their product should also be capitalized.
Mm. Mm.
It's not so that, for example, let me take an example of MindCog. So MindCog is practically, I've been following you, Kanika. You have huge followers on LinkedIn. So I've been following you and you write beautifully very well. Now, the point is that uh, don't you see that because you write so well and you get connected to the people, LinkedIn understands your pattern of writing, and the people who connect with you, thereby it recommends you more people. So if LinkedIn never used AI or machine learning, you would have got all wrong recommendations on your LinkedIn profile to connect with. So apart from being a social media platform, a layer of AI recommendations is helping LinkedIn to grow its graph network. We are on a graph. We are all nodes interconnected to each other. So we are connecting very fast with each other. So this is a kind of a pivot which started with all these big companies like Microsoft, who owns LinkedIn, or maybe Meta or Alphabet, but now it's coming to all the Indian companies in the last 3-4 years. They know if they sell a particular product, data is generated, capitalize that data to make the product better, add more features, and sell that data as a value-added service back to the same customer.
Correct.
So
Correct.
there has been a huge pivot, yes.
Yeah, yeah. No, those are beautiful examples, and you're right. It's only going to get better with time. Like, you make some tools, the tool learns from itself by usage, and just gets better and better. Very great examples again. We are seeing a lot of AI in marketing, supply chain, operations. What do you think is the next high leverage frontier for CXOs that they should watch for?
Oh, oh my God. You asked a very difficult question. The CXOs. Okay. So let's say if I'm an employee working in a company, 3 years ago, Kanika, I probably had a very small basket and I used to go and ask somebody, if I want to do this, what tool should I use?
Hmm.
But today I go and ask to somebody outside, to
Hmm.
do this, I have 5 tools. Which one should I use? So
Yeah.
in 3 years, from zero options, I have come to a lot of options. And
Hmm.
because I've come to a lot of options, I think maybe in a year or two, you would see people in various companies coming back to you and telling you that there is a kind of an information overload on AI tools. So CXOs will have to, first of all, streamline with the work that they have to be very sure that they need to set AI data policies, which I don't see in MSME companies at all. There are no
Hmm.
AI data policies. The corporate data is openly going on the public networks
Yeah.
with no security firewalls or security layers in place. So I think CXOs have to take care of 2 things. One is appropriate training and awareness from
Hmm.
their end onto the people, because leaders have to teach or propagate by examples. Second, make sure that before people start using AI tools, you
Hmm.
have a clear cut AI data policy in place
Hmm.
of what you're going to allow to be used and what is not going to be allowed to be used. And what type of data of the company's IP can be uploaded and cannot be uploaded, because after all the LLMs do
Hmm.
not have their cloud databases in India. They have it probably in land outside our country. So you need to be very careful. So if you have an IP,
Hmm.
which is important intellectual property of your company, you need to be ensuring that it doesn't goes out of the purview of the land, because the law of the land is applicable only to India. It's not applicable to a cloud-based server there in the US.
Yeah.
The third most important thing is the CXOs have to inculcate in the hierarchy below that AI is not here to replace anybody. But
Hmm.
if you do not embrace or adapt it, you will be replaceable, or you will be having a lower market value in the time to come.
Yeah. No, I think all very, very relevant and valid points. How do you recommend that organizations balance in-house capability versus external partnerships in AI rollouts?
I like to share this case. I was at a place called Anand, it's in Gujarat, in the
Hmm.
month of March. And I was training for this company called BCI Instruments. Now, BCI Instruments is a huge manufacturing plant just adjoining Amul factory at Anand in Gujarat. And this factory is actually manufacturing small, very niche engineering parts for a company called Boeing. Head office of BCI Instruments is in Canada, and they wanted to have this kind of a 2-day training program which is very focused, and their focus was not to know about prompting or prompt engineering. They
Hmm.
wanted to reduce their defect rate from existing 4.5 to 5% to below 3%, because they're not a mass production company. They
Hmm.
are a niche production company which are manufacturing parts to a very precise specification set. So what I'm going to tell you is that we need to be very clear of how the company's culture is. Now, this particular company is into traditional manufacturing. They have no head and tail idea about AI. In
Hmm.
this case, I think if they define the problem, they will have to go 100% outsourced
Yeah.
to an AI-based company and get the solution in place. Maybe they can have a consultant in picture to translate their problem statement technically, clearly to the company which is coding an AI solution for them.
Hmm. Hmm.
In-house, nothing can be done. But now let's move from there onto a company which is probably already having a predictive maintenance kind of a AI on their entire shop floor. So they don't come to the machine after it has got bad. They have a
Hmm.
predictive maintenance software in place which tells them which machines are going to go bad, and that means they are already having a culture of using AI in their manufacturing plant. So for such companies, maybe the rule base could be around 70 and 30.
Hmm.
They could outsource 70% of the part and do 30% of the part themselves. But
Hmm.
if you look at companies like a Bosch or Tata Motors,
Yeah.
then I don't think so. These two companies really have to outsource anything because they have in-house capabilities which they can actually train, reskill, and actually use their asset base, which are good in coding and software analysis, into
Hmm.
developing side AI systems and hold the entire IP of it. Anika, if they're going in Gen AI, they will not, make LLMs themselves. That's not their core, but
Yeah.
they can outsource and use the external LLMs, but effectively make systems over existing LLMs of OpenAI or of Copilot from Microsoft or of Grok or of Gemini. So use the LLMs
Hmm.
of these companies, but make an entire system yourself over it.
Hmm. Hmm. Which is customized to your needs.
Exactly.
I think you're right. It really depends on the industry, the technical maturity of the company, and what the use case they're seeking answers to. Tell me, Rocky, you do so much work in this field. What excites you the most about the evolution of generative AI, and how can leaders realistically prepare for it in 2025?
Keep your mind open to get trained and adopt. Never be having a kind of a barrier gap on to trying. So companies should have a small AI budget for experimentation. I'm not saying R&D. R&D is a very big term. It is usually misunderstood that you are doing research, so you're going to develop something. But there should be a small budget which majority of the companies should make now, maybe a 0.5 to 1% of their
Hmm.
entire turnover. They should lock it for AI experimentation. A lot of POCs, proof of concepts, can be made for existing problem statements. I do understand that for any company, think about this.
Hmm.
Okay, if I'm using Canva and I'm very happy using Canva, I will never ever think of trying any other tool.
Yeah.
But if I'm using Canva, but I still see that in Canva, even in the paid version, I cannot do four things.
Hmm.
So allow me to experiment with some other tools, or at least try help me in giving me the budget to make some other tool which can help me with those four automating of those four things as well. So
Hmm.
companies should think of finding pain points, making POCs, using AI in them, for which time and budget allocation should be done by the company. Otherwise, as a country and as an industry, we're any which ways lacking a lot in R&D, any which ways. And therefore, we don't have any useful patents. In technology space, if you look at where is India, and India is lagging a lot. Germany is far ahead of us in technology patents. China is much ahead of us. US is far, far ahead of us. So effectively, if we keep using technology and we feel happy, oh wow, we have made the system, but ultimately we are giving our hardcore revenue, hard-earned money to some company in Germany or in China or in the US because the
Hmm.
core technology patent is with them. So
Yeah.
if you cannot give enough time and make R&D departments, at least allow every department to have an open forums to discuss POCs and have some small budget allocated. Maybe out of 10 POCs and 10 experiments, one clicks.
Yeah, yeah, I absolutely agree. And I think there could be some inertia as well. Not all teams or every person would be equally inclined towards learning learning about new AI tools. A lot of them, inertia is a very big factor, which sort of stops people from, moving on to something new. And there could also be a lot of skepticism, like the way I see it, because it's always there, whether it's as robust, is it going to be as good as a human output? And it could be very, very true for legacy business units for sure.
Yes, it is. Unfortunately, it is. at the moment, but that's okay. No, we don't expect everyone to change, but we at
Yeah.
least expect some to change.
Mm. I think as if you're able to solve at least the smallest or some core pain points for these teams, for these people, gradually they'll start seeing some results, and they can evaluate, introspect, and maybe that'll drive them to like better adoption, more open to trying new tools, like you mentioned.
Kanika, I do not know whether in your market research, I'm very sure you would have analyzed this. This article came day before yesterday in the Hindustan Times newspaper that in this year, the VC funding has gone 43% higher to companies which are into SaaS-based software as a service using AI.
Hmm.
So this year is 43% more than last year. And overall contribution to AI is about 67% of the
Hmm.
entire VC funding which has happened in India. So
Hmm.
I think if legacy companies or legacy businesses which have actually made a lot of big money on their cash balance sheets and created a lot of fixed assets,
Hmm.
in case of Haldiram, they have a lot of fixed assets everywhere. You see,
Yeah.
so if you look at a lot of companies which are in the space of steel or probably power distribution or probably food industries which have opened up chains all around, so many companies have actually made a lot of wealth and a lot of fixed assets over the period of time, but they're still working in legacy modes. And what is
Yeah.
happening? Startups of youngsters are coming up, understanding small pain points in these companies and making them a startup product. So there is a money that is going to outflow from these legacy based companies eventually into the startups. And
Hmm.
that money is going to outflow, and the legacy company understands, oh my God, this software really solves my problem. There's going to be merger and acquisition and takeovers.
Yeah.
So I think that it's a good thing that is happening, that legacy companies are not really being very proactive in AI, but that is giving birth to startups.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
One person's trash could be another person's opportunity.
exactly. Absolutely.
So, Rocky, as thank you so much, for your wonderful insights. As we're about to close the podcast, could you share like just one message with every CEO who's listening in today about AI and its impact on leadership in the future?
I would say be open minded, allow people to learn, experiment, and support them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And what about the CEO's jobs?
That's going to be safe because they have more people management work than anything else. You
Yeah.
see, biggest work of the CEO is strategy and people management. So that's all going to be very safe. Nothing to worry.
Great, great. Well, thank you so much once again. This is a very interesting conversation, and especially the time that I attended the first session with you, and my entire team did that. Very useful, and I'm sure everybody who's listening in, a lot of their questions are answered. Thank you so much for listening in, and if you want to reach out to Rocky, we will leave out his LinkedIn contact details in the description below. And for more such content, please subscribe and like, and keep tuning in to the Insights Lounge. We're very happy to bring in more such content to you guys. Thank you so
Sure.
much.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Kanika.
Thanks.